Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Lightning Gaming. So guys, I saw someone commented on one of my previous videos that a new Dark Drags dungeon is a great location to go and get a bunch of free loot early game in Conan Exiles. Now after that comment I saw a lot of you guys were arguing about it as well, whether it is a good spot or a bad one. So I decided to test this out for myself. Basically I'm gonna go over to the Dark Drags dungeon while my character is only level 9 and we will see how many free loot I can get and also what kind of free loot I can get from the Dark Drags dungeon and if it's worth it at all. But before I get started, if you are new to my channel, please remember to like and subscribe. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, but first up, for the new players that doesn't know, in order to find the Dark Drags dungeon, you are gonna need to head right over here on the map. Like you can see, it's very close to the starting position. Now in order to test this out, I just brought some basic stuff with me. Basically the only items I'm gonna be using is gonna be stone daggers, because you can craft that very early game in Conan Exiles. And then also some weak aloe extract in case I need to heal up quickly. Now the last thing I have with me is gonna be normal improvised torches. I decided to bring 4 with me because you are gonna need a bunch of these if you wanna come over here early game. Alright guys, now to avoid as much of the NPCs in the area as possible, because I'm only early game, I'm gonna go from around the back over here. Basically I just climbed all the rocks to this spot right here. And basically what I'm gonna try is I only want 1 or 2 NPCs to follow me in there, because I think anything more than that early game can be a little bit of a problem. So I'm just gonna sneak around the corner over here. I don't want that cannibal brute to aggro on me as well. I just want 1 or 2 of the NPCs to follow me inside. That is if I can get past this tree, of course. Okay, there we go. This should be good. Now there's always an archer as well as a fighter NPC standing right over there. So I'm gonna try and kill the fighter one right on top of this pressure plate in order to open the dungeon. Now I highly recommend that you take stone daggers instead of a stone sword or something like that, simply because you're gonna be able to bleed out those NPCs quite quickly. Alright, but as soon as the dungeon open, I'm just gonna run inside. I'm just gonna go all the way down into the Dark Drags dungeon, and we will see how far we can get into this dungeon before you actually need to fight any enemies. Alright, there we go. I just spawned in. Now, of course, the improvised torch isn't gonna make a lot of light at all, so it might take you a little bit of time before you can take all the loot inside this area. You can actually go early game. One thing that I notice about coming over here and grabbing all the loot is you are not gonna be able to find any tools as well as weapons. So basically you are just gonna be able to find a bunch of random materials like building materials. If you are lucky you can even find a bunch of alchemical paste and also steel bars. Now within the first area of this dungeon you can actually already find a bunch of chests you can loot without needing to worry about any enemies at all. Now once you are done looting all the chests in the first area of the dungeon, you can go over and open this gate. The next room behind the gate is gonna be a big room, but one thing that I notice is that there isn't gonna be a lot of chests in this next part. So I would really just run straight past this. Like you can see guys, there's gonna be those wooden chests all over the place containing stuff you're gonna need to repair your torches. So you don't really need to worry about that too much. But as soon as you are done with this next part of the dungeon, you are just gonna proceed to the left side. So you can still go, there's still gonna be no enemies at all that's gonna try and fight you. So let's just proceed and see how far we can go when you go over to this location early game. Before you go through the wind, just remember to put away your torch, otherwise it's gonna get a lot of damage. But now over at this next spot, there's also gonna be a bunch of chests you can actually come and loot. You will see that a lot of spots in this dungeon, it's gonna look like you can't climb up. If that happens, you simply need to keep trying until you reach the chain. And once you do, you can just climb all the way to the top and grab the free loot. Okay, so I climbed all the way to the top. Over here is gonna be some more chests for you to loot. So there is actually a bunch you can get. But you will see that a lot of times you're gonna get stuff like hardened steel, even dragon powder, star metal bar. So basically a lot of stuff you're not gonna be using early game. But I'm gonna continue and just show you what else I can get if I come over here early game. Of course you can also get the supply material crates, which can be a little bit useful. But we are already getting deep into this dungeon, and like you can see, so far no enemies yet, so it's still clear. You can still run even further to go and loot. Now I'm just gonna wait for this ladder to drop and then we can move on to the next area of the dungeon. Okay guys, so over here is where you are gonna be finding a lot more chests. Just look all over the place because a lot of them are very hidden. Mostly you're gonna look for this chains and you simply need to climb right to the top, and there's always gonna be chests at the top once you get there. But once again, like you can see, a bunch more free loot over here. So you can definitely get a bunch of loot without needing to fight any enemies. But like I said guys, the one thing that I don't like about this a lot is because you aren't getting any kind of tools and weapons. So I would definitely say that the Sailback Hollow and the Silver Mine Dungeon is still better. Maybe hit all of those locations. But you can go all the way up to the spot where you are gonna light the two fires. So if you don't want to struggle with fighting any enemies, or maybe just dodging them, because I don't think you're gonna be wanting to kill them early game, you are just gonna go up to the spot where you see those torches, then you can basically just turn around. But if you decided to, you will see that you can actually get a bunch more free loot. Just watch out for this acid water. And of course, this is also the part where you're gonna start seeing the skeletons over here, and they do actually do a lot of damage. So yeah guys, if you want my opinion, I would say that you can come over here like mid game. I wouldn't really say this is one of the best spots to come and get loot early game. But still, if you are lucky enough to get a few of the supply material crates, you can actually walk away with a decent amount of resources, especially early game if you want to get a bunch of steel bars or even iron bars. So over here I have two that I found in the dungeon, so let's go and open that up. So I got 500 iron bar there, and then also a bunch of wood and fiber, but you can get a lot of different stuff. This is the same supply materials you can get from killing bearers in Conan Exiles. Now of course you won't be getting the same loot every time you do this first part of the dungeon, so that makes it very hard for me to tell you if it's really worth it or not. But yeah guys, that's about it for this video. Thank you everyone for watching. Until next time guys, cheers, see ya.